Hey guys, I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of transformations of quadratics. There'll be a screencast and I'm going to hopefully show you on Desmos what I'm talking about with shape shifting. But transformations are just changing the position or the size of any graph really, but in particular quadratics. So I have written up here my vertex form for my parabola, which is what we looked at last week. We know that the vertex of this quadratic is h comma k. Remember, it's always the opposite of what was inside with the x in the squared factor, okay? And then it's the value on the outside of that set of parentheses. Today we're going to talk about the a, the h, and the k, and how changing those values changes your graph, okay? I'm going to start with h on the inside. H is responsible for horizontal shifting. So I always like to draw left and right arrows underneath that set of parentheses. So H is responsible for translating your graph left or right, okay? Moving it either to the left or to the right, depending on what it is. If it's x plus 3 quantity squared inside of there, what's weird about this is that that plus 3 actually makes the graph move to the left 3 units, okay? So inside, if we were to add, it actually shifts it to the left. And then similarly, if I had a minus in there, x minus, let's put 4 so I could change it up a little bit, that minus 4 actually moves it to the right 4 units. So it goes opposite of what you think, okay? ITS. So that's your H, that's your inside of your set of parentheses. The K on the outside, and we've talked about this before, is responsible for your vertical shift. So either moving your graph up or moving your graph down. So K is responsible for up, down, okay? If I had a plus 5 outside, that's going to move your graph up 5 units. Okay, and if it was a minus 6, it's going to move it down 6 units. Okay, that A out in front is responsible for dilating your graph. Okay, so this is the one that requires a little bit more time, and I'm going to try to keep it concise. You'll see this on the screencast, and you'll see it on the screencast, yeah. Okay, so A is responsible for 2 things. First thing you already know, it's responsible for reflection over the x-axis, okay? And you know this because when that A, which is outside in front of your squared term, when your A is positive, you know that you have a smiling parabola, okay? We saw that. We even saw that when we were with one another, okay? When your A is negative, that's when it reflects over the x-axis and you end up with the frowning parabola. Okay, so that's something that you've seen already, you should be familiar with. The other thing that A is responsible for is, I'll do this in another color, this is responsible for dilating. Okay, so it's responsible for making your graph wider or narrower depending on what the value is, okay? If the value of A is bigger than 0 and less than 1, so think about what kind of numbers those are, 1/2, 0.75, 0.9, okay, 2/3, the graph gets wider. So it's going to be a broader, right? It's going to compress vertically. It's going to be a broader parabola shape, okay? If it is greater than 1, my graph is going to get narrower. And I should have written that over here, but I didn't. Okay, my graph gets narrower if my A is greater than 1. So think 2, 3, 4, 1.5, okay? 4/3, that's greater than 1. Your graph stretches vertically, and it's going to be a narrower parabola, okay? That's the rundown. Check out the screencast, and I'll show you more.